What is up, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Our 6D Journey. The music's a little loud. Oops. My name is Lucas, and I'm here to help us build healthy relationships. So, it's Christmas time. Everyone's out, buying gifts, buying food, getting ready for holiday parties. Even though we should be social distancing, right? But we're still, let's face it, those of us are still meeting up with our families. And, this is going to be a bit of a different video today. Over the last about 8 years, I was in school. And during that time, I was living off my credit cards, living off my student loans, working as much as I could, trying to maintain enough to be able to afford my rent and my food and, some of the school bills I had. And I haven't been able to give the way I wanted to. Like every year I would have maybe a $200 Christmas budget, maybe $300. For everyone, for my family, which is my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my aunt, my grandmother, my two sisters, if I was dating someone at the time, all my students. I get my students gifts every single year. And, I gave with a full heart. It was what I could give, what I could spare to give it away. And then last year, I got into a wreck in November the 11th. And I had an $827 a month car payment that I had to keep making that had no car because the car was totaled. That's a long story, not even worth unpacking, but let me tell you right now, it sucked. And then on top of that, I wasn't able to work Uber anymore. And that job was at least $1,500, upwards of $2,000, $2,500 every single month. So I was still making car payment and had this huge, massive lack in my finances. So last year, I didn't get anyone anything. I went out and spent $50 on my students, went to a dollar store and just got a bunch of small stuff. And I could not give last year at all. I could barely make my rent. And then this year, what happened was everyone in my life started taking a huge step back from Christmas. It's been a hard year. It's 2020, COVID happened, and jobs are scarce, money's less, blah, blah, the economy. And then all of a sudden, it became like a business exchange where the number of people in my life who were calling me to talk about money with Christmas, going, hey, we're doing this, or hey, this happened, or hey, this might happen later, or hey, blah, 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 I can't afford this year to give you the same amount of gifts, which already made me feel uncomfortable. I'm kind of going, okay, that's fine. I don't expect any gifts from you at all. Like, you don't have to give me anything. Like just show up, just be present. Say Merry Christmas, say Happy Holidays. And it was like 3 or 4 different people that were all calling and talking about Christmas as if it was a business exchange. And then specifically, and I got really worked up because at some point they even said, hey, we're meeting up on so-and-so date to have a gift exchange. And like that was the whole meaning of meeting up, was to have a gift exchange. And so I'm already getting upset that we're talking about Christmas as if it's a business and exchanging how much money, oh, well, if you spend 75, I spend 75. It was just so much. And then I'm going to get personal. If you see this, Mom, I'm sorry. My mom calls and says that she wanted to make Christmas this year about a $100 gift and a $50 gift. Okay, the last 4 Christmases, she's been like a $500 kind of person. It's been huge Christmases, and honestly, I was beyond grateful. Well, she does that, and then she changes it over and says, next year, wouldn't it be fun if every person got one person and we focused all of our energy and gift money spending on that one person? And then my fiance and I got in this conversation, and I said, I don't feel like it's fair or right to ever call someone, because he's dealing with his sister and his grandmother on his side, and I'm part of that too. So I don't think it's ever fair to call someone and say, hey, I can only afford this. Don't spend more than that on me. And we kind of had gotten to this conversation about money and about everyone's different levels of affluence. Because, if I'm making, say, $60,000 a year and I go and spend $50 on person A, then that's what I can give them. $50, that's the max of my budget. That's what I can afford for Christmas. If that person over there is making $300,000 a year, which is 5 times more than 60, then in essence, $50 to me is $250 to them. Okay, and just cut and dry. Now, say rich person over here has this gigantic $40,000 bill. Okay, they have less money. But my point is, Christmas is never supposed to be an equal exchange. It's never been an equal exchange. It's like we should be giving what it is that our hearts lead us to give. If your heart leads you to spend $20 on your sister and $100 on your aunt, or $50 on your kids and $100 on your boss, like, that's your heart. Your heart leads you where it is that you think is best to spend your energy on giving someone a gift. And again, you're not required. Christmas is not like we're getting gifts and that's all we do. That's not what it's about, right? It's about just giving without expectation. And it got into a weird place because we were talking about, in specific reference to his sister, his sister right now has him, his mom, his grandmother, her boyfriend, and me. There's 5 of them. And then her boyfriend, her fiance's mother. So she has 6 people to spend money on. If she has $500 divided by 6, I don't know what that is, like $80. There's her budget, $75. Well, for me, someone who makes about the same amount of money as she does, I have my fiance, my grandmother, my mother, my 2 sisters, his mother, his sister, her fiance, my aunt, my dad. I'm already at 10 people, right? I'm already at 4 more than her. And so it's like, we have to give what it is we can. I don't believe in going into huge amounts of credit card debt for Christmas presents. I don't believe in making Christmas so big that you have to eat crap food for the 3 months before. I don't believe in making Christmas so massive that you can't afford to pay your rent in January. It has to be a wise investment and a wise decision. And I'll be honest, after this year, part of me just wants to tell everyone in my life, listen, moving forward, I don't want to have this standard gift exchange thing where I'm required to give you a gift and you're required to give me a gift and we call and talk about how much money we're going to spend on each other. And it becomes so, it's not about Christmas anymore. It's a business. And with relationships, this applies to everything beyond Christmas. If you feel moved by your heart, by the spirit, by your thoughts, to give something to someone, we shouldn't expect anything back. Not even a thank you. Like, I know that, yes, it's polite to get a thank you back. But if you give a gift and someone gives you literally nothing in return, like you hear no response from them, that's okay. And that's how it's supposed to be. It's not about the exchange and the understanding, because then, I don't know, I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated. Because it's supposed to be about the heart. And everyone is in a different place. And I feel like I've repeated myself 3 or 4 times in this video with the same thing with different words, but I'm just getting it out to you so you really absorb it. Like, we're just supposed to give freely and openly without expectation. And if someone gets upset because you spent $50 and they spent $75, that's on them. That ain't on you. And if you start feeling guilty that you didn't spend as much money on them as they did on you, that already shows the dynamic that's been created, which at that point, if you're in that total gift exchange of just you spend 75, I spend 75, you spend 100, I spend 100, you spend 20, I spend 20, at that point, no one really gifted or got anything. You basically just showed up and said, hey, I have 3 bottles of conditioner. Can I get 2 bottles of shampoo and trade you a conditioner? Like, that's not giving. It's a bank ledger for gifts. And I mean, I really am right now in a place where I feel like I just don't even want to continue it on. I don't want to keep playing the game of, how we're giving gifts this year. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not fun. And it's kind of one of those things too where I'm in a place right now where I'm having people over for Christmas, and we're having it at our apartment this year. Next year it'll be at our house. We have a house. It'll be ready in May. But when next year comes around, like I in my mind, I want to know who's coming, and then everyone that's coming to my house, I'm going to prepare Christmas for them. When that's food and drinks and, presents for them, maybe little gift bags everyone leaves. But, it's about them showing up to my house and me hosting and being the welcoming host to give energy away. That's what hosts do. But if you don't show up to the house, I don't feel like it. I don't want to go out of my way to go have a gift exchange with a friend or a sibling just because they didn't want to show up. Like, I don't know. I just, it's been a really weird year. People, I think because we've become more distant from each other, the connections that we have become a little bit faded. They've become bland and mute. And because we don't have that connection and that constant building of love, we'll call it, we feel less obligated to go out and get them gifts, right? Because we're not seeing them all the time. The energy exchange has been smaller. And it's really shown me how people looked at Christmas for a long time and birthdays. Like, you're not obligated to give anyone anything at any time, ever. And if you don't give anyone anything at any time, you're not a bad person. And if you give people stuff all the time and you're just giving all this money away and all these gifts away, that doesn't make you a good person at all. That just means either you have money or you don't. You want to spend money or you don't. That's all it is. And I just think it's really important for us to grasp that in relationships because, you know, if you get engaged to someone who makes $2 million a year and you make $50,000 a year, it would make sense that if they go and buy you a car, that's the same thing as you buying them a $400 Apple Watch. And it shouldn't be compared. Don't compare the amount of money, because you don't know where that person is. You have no idea what kind of money they're making, what kind of bills they have, what kind of expenses have come up this year that were unexpected. Like, you have no idea where they are. And that's why I just think, I felt so bad that my mom felt the need to reach out to me and say, I'm making Christmas smaller. And I think she might even open up with, I hope no one's upset at me for this. And she said, I've really been struggling to get to this decision, but I'm making Christmas smaller. And I could tell she felt awful. And I was just going, why? Like, I don't expect anything from you. Like, it's nice when someone helps, but expecting it, that's a no-no. So, all right, well, guys, that's what Christmas is all about. So I'll talk to you guys later.